Yeah, we just got done jamming
Yeah,
and have done interviews kind of getting overlapped and getting a little behind schedule. So I hope it's okay.
it's okay. No worries.
All right.
How did the jamming go?
Awesome. Awesome. We're playing some new songs. We're learning a bunch of new songs. We'll play like three of them on the Trivium tour. But then we have a special show that we're doing when that tour is over in London. We're doing one show and we're going to play, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 songs off the new record. So it's fun. We haven't, this album's been done for 2 years. So, we're just ready to go. This thing comes out on Friday. We're all excited and just starting to practice the songs to get ready for live. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you feel like this album is old already for you?
No, we did a pretty good job once it was done. Me and Donald just sat on it and tucked it away. We didn't even give the band members it or anything. So we're like, just everybody forget about it. So now we got to break it back out again. So it's starting to feel new and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And the title track, Dying of Everything, really sums up what the 2 years of COVID have been about.
You know what? When we came up with that, all of my lyrics and all the song titles are usually the last thing that get done on an album, and as I'm going through my lyrics and I'm always writing down song titles as I think of stuff. And, sometimes we have songs that have a song title that I don't even say inside of it and whatever. But when we came up with Dying of Everything, it just kind of did seem fitting that, it seemed like every day you were waking up in the middle of a pandemic, learning about social distancing and vaccines and booster shots. And it was terrible. It sucked. And it was, eventually just like, my God, we're just, dying of everything. And it just felt fitting, Just turn that light on, kitchen light, please.
You can die of the cure and you can die of the virus.
It's terrible, man. It's terrible. You don't even know what to believe anymore. So who knows?
It's kind of hard. And when it comes to, one of the things about Obituary, it's like you guys seem to be getting better and better. I don't know how you guys do it, but it's like this album, like it sounds like Obituary, but at the same time, there's a bit of new elements in there. You guys are always, this branching out in a way. It's something that you guys think about, or is just something very natural when it comes to writing?
Yeah, we certainly do not struggle to write music. We also take our time with it. We're not a band that does an album every year or every other year. Like, feel like we have some type of schedule we're supposed to keep, Before Back from the Dead, it was 4 or 5 or 6 years or something. Before Frozen in Time was 6 years. This album wasn't necessarily, it's almost, I think our last album's going on 5 years old, but like I said, we had it done. It just got kind of 2 years delayed, but we were bound and determined not to put an album out and be sitting at home. That was just, we were not going to do that. So, but we always collect some ideas and always collecting rhythms and like I said, song titles and just lyric ideas that I get. I'm always dropping stuff down. So when it comes around and we feel like, we have the time, God, it seems like it's taken us 3 or 4 years just to get all the touring done that we need to do for an album. It just takes that long nowadays. So when we got the time, but we just sit down and then just have fun with it, the pandemic gave us a little extra time to have the songs kind of mostly written and be able to listen to them and feel them out, make some changes and add some cool beginnings and endings and just go over some things. But it's fun. I really think that, with every album that we've done, you always look back after the fact, might be years later. But Donald might go, man, I just don't like the way my snare drum wound up sounding. You know what I mean? Or I wish I could have sung something a little bit differently. Or there's lots of little things that happen. But I really think that this album, between the songwriting to the recording to the production to working with Joe, and I think all aspects really kind of came to a peak at the right time. Yeah. And it just seems like and we love it. We think it's one of our best albums. So
yeah, I think it's a phenomenal record, to be honest. And one of the things, we see bands that are getting over 30, almost 40 years of career. A lot of bands, and they're still making records. Apart from Kiss, it's still important for you guys. Because you could do a tour with just Slowly We Rot special or Cause of Death, whatever record you guys release, you could make it like a special tour around it and just play the same old classics. But
Yeah.
it seems for you guys it's necessary to keep writing new music. Is that the challenge to motivate you guys to keep doing this?
It is cool, and it's it's kind of one of those things. If I go see Slayer, hey, I'm no different than everybody else. I want to hear Rain and Blood. I want to hear Chemical Warfare. I want to hear all those songs that I grew up with. I'm little. Mo, their new albums, all great, and all love those guys to death. But I want to do it. So believe me, I get it when fans are yelling "Slowly We Rot" and they want to hear "Cause of Death" and they want to hear all those classics they grew up with. But at the same time, we need to keep ourselves happy.
Yeah.
We love playing our new stuff. We're having an absolute blast with it. We played, My Will to Live came out, or not, The Wrong Time came out right before the Amon Amarth tour we just did, Carcass. And it was just awesome. We were playing that every night. The fans were getting into it. It seems like they're starting to hear it. It's been a great buildup, between some of the singles coming out, and now the album comes out on Friday. We'll be getting on airplanes at the end of the next weekend and heading to Europe for the first time in like 6 years. So
yeah,
the new songs are fun for us for sure.
Yeah. And, when it comes to this tour with Trivium, how long are you guys going to play? You guys have any idea yet?
I think it's a 35-minute set.
Okay, so really,
I don't particularly cry about. But it's. I think we're squeezing in about 8 songs. So if we play a couple of new songs, that means we literally have to pick 6 other songs off of out of about 150 songs that we have in our catalog. So everybody's got to bear with us. We can't play every song. We just don't have the time. But we'll be back. We got headlining tours getting set up in America and in Europe. So, we'll certainly be back where we have a longer set. We can play more stuff, and we'll probably bring a heavier package, if you will. Nothing against the package we're on, but more of a, maybe more of a death metal package.
Yeah.
It hasn't been worked out, but we'll see what happens. But we've been loving the opening, for bands, especially bands that are a little bit bigger than ours and have a little bit different fan base. Not too different, but like the Black Label Society tour we did we had so much fun on that.
Yeah.
And you can see it. Zach has some awesome fans. He's got a diehard fan base that come out and see him. They're a little bit, they're like our age kind of fans. And probably a lot of them have seen the Obituary logo, but there was clearly not a lot of them that have ever seen us live.
Yeah.
And we love that opportunity to get in front of that person and let them feel our music, because we really think that live is where we really come to life, with all the grooves. I don't know if a lot of them just think that it's some blasting death metal or something, which is what we're not. So we've been kind of enjoying this spot to be in. So
yeah. And would you have the notion that you conquer newer fans when you play on these package tours?
Yeah, no doubt, man. You can see it on their face when we start. Everybody's like this. By about the 3rd song, everybody's like this, and then by the end of the night, our merch girl's coming up and he's like, dude, all night long they come up to me and said, we've never seen them before, so give me a T-shirt kind of thing. So, I think it's good for us.
And I think the logo of Obituary, it's cool enough to have on a T-shirt anyway.
Yeah, and even on most of our artwork, it's not, some type of Cannibal Corpse artwork where maybe an older Black Label Society fan's not going to buy, some gory kind of T-shirt. But we have enough merchandise that's just cool, standard kind of looking stuff, and they were buying it up and loving it. So
yeah, and I was reading the bio, and one of the things about you guys when it comes to songwriting, and the motto that you guys have, it's keep it simple, stupid.
Well, we are, we don't really have a choice. We are cavemen by nature, and that's just the way we do things. But we're okay with it. We don't try to overplay and get over cute with the stuff that we do. But we just find that's just that slower groove, get into it. It sounds better on the albums than just sheer out blasting. You can really feel a lot of the instruments in the low end, but live too. We just really can get into it and hear some of that just pounding groove,
Yeah. And, one of the things, we probably answer this question a lot, but it's the first time that we're talking. So I'm going to ask you, Florida was known for death metal, a lot. What was special about Florida for a lot of bands coming out? Was the weather?
Yeah. Yeah, it's swimming in the swamps, man. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where, you kind of just grow up, and a lot of the people we grow up with, like even Terry Butler, who was back in Massacre in the day, and we're starting Executioner, and Alan was in Massacre, and then we had, friends in Atheist, and Deicide was around, and you would go and the interesting thing about that is I don't think we sound anything like Deicide. I don't think Deicide sounds anything like Atheist. So it's all Florida death metal, but I don't think we all sound the same. You know what I mean? Yes, it's death metal. It maybe has some similarities, but we just all grew up kind of, I think, seeing each other and building off each other, and maybe good competition, builds better bands or something like that. You raise yourself to the level of competition you play at sometimes. So
did you felt that competition in a way?
Not really, but I was trying to make something sound interesting. But it's kind of funny because I remember even like when we first started playing, even the smallest of shows, if bands got together, and there were some bands, I'm sure some of them aren't even around. I mean, I know a lot of them aren't even around anymore, but sometimes bands show up and they're just like, well, we're bigger than you, we should play last, kind of thing. We never one time said that to anybody. I will open for anybody at any given time, and I will take that, I'll take that spot, no problem. I will take care of a crowd myself. I don't need to play before or after anybody to prove anything. And but it's just kind of our nature, and it's just the way we always were. Just don't care, just, hey, maybe that's a good song title. But it's just the way we kind of are, yeah. So.
But the Maury Sound studios was very important as well, and not just for death metal, but for a lot of, because I remember I started recording as well. There was a lot of other bands that, and now it's Night Castle Studios, like the guys from TSO and own the studios. But Maury Sound was very important as well. It was, I remember looking at the record, if it was recorded at Maury Sound, I'm going to get it. That was how, the credibility of that studio.
All right. Well, all right. I got a whole bunch to talk about right here. So, touching on the fact with all the bands that you asked about, all coming from Florida. And I'm sitting here thinking about the songs and the writing, and clearly all those bands did lots of recording at Moore Sound, and Moore Sound does have its own sound. So that is a common theme that does bring a lot of those bands together with that thing, especially when Scott Burns had done so many of those. We still, my brother lives not far from Moore Sound, so he still drives by there all the time and sees John Oliva's Hummer parked out front. So he knows he's in there working, and I text him from time to time. I'm always like, come on, man, give us some more Sabotage. So I'm good friends with John Oliva. That's awesome. So Moore Sound, they closed. It was a huge, beautiful studio. I mean, it was state of the art. I have no idea how they kept in business for so long. So many bands like ourselves record themselves now. We don't go into studios to do our recording. So it was probably tough for them. It was a really big, beautiful studio. But they did open up a new studio just a few years ago. And we just got a call from Tom Morris, and they set up their new studio to be a full Atmos mix that you can do in there. I don't know if you know what Atmos is. ATMOS.
Yeah.
Well, it's 13 speakers that surround you from below, behind, above, and the whole 9 yards. So they were like, you know what? We think you guys would be the perfect band for heavy bands to come in here and try one of these, because not a lot of heavy metal bands, certainly not death metal bands, are doing Atmos mixes right now. A lot of your pop stars are doing it. They got the money to throw around, whatever. But it was so awesome, dude. You think about sitting in front of this in this control room, and you have to sit in the center, because if you sit over there, it sounds totally different. If you got to sit in the center. Me and DT are like face to face listening to stuff. It's just crazy. Working with Jim again, and the guy is so awesome. He's so into his music still after all these years. It was refreshing to sit down and work with him, but it was cool. You think he made this reference when we're sitting there mixing. He goes, okay, well, what you'll notice here is I took the guitars and I mixed them wider than stereo. So if you think about a stereo mix like we have, you have two speakers, and you can put Trevor in the left, you can put Kenny in the right, 80% or 100%. So you hear that stereo wider than stereo. It's crazy because the guitars can go from here to here. And sometimes there's not even speakers. And I swear you're looking over and I can hear it coming from right here and there's no speaker. Totally tripping. But we had an absolute blast. I mean, we had so much fun mixing it. So long story short, the album will be out Atmos Mix on Apple iTunes if you have the ability to listen to it, which I know a lot of people don't. But I know like Tesla is already, all the new Teslas coming out are having like 13 speakers in their vehicles with full Atmos mix. So most of your sound bars come with it. The new Apple headphones have it, and they do a really good job of recreating that space even in headphones. But it's more and more. I know a lot of people don't have it yet, but if you get the ability to hear it, it's pretty cool. It's pretty sick. We had to fully remix the album to do it too.
Yeah, so. I actually am a big fan of Atmos Mix. I got an album a couple of years ago. That was it was looked to release. It's more like a power metal, heavy metal symphonic thing. So a lot of choirs and everything. And I listened to that on the Dolby Atmos. It was fucking insane. The voice is really just coming from everywhere. And I was like, what is this? Oh
man, like War, the song War that we did. Oh my God, that war scene will have you ducking underneath your chair thinking missiles are coming in and land on you. So it's crazy. It came out great.
Do you have an idea when that will be available on the?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be available on Friday the 13th when the album comes out.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. I know we're done with it, and it should be hand off to Relapse. The files are so big you can't put it on CDs.
Yeah.
You can't buy a CD with the mix on it. It's too big. It's too much information.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming, and I haven't heard differently, that it should be available on Friday the 13th when the album comes out on Apple iTunes. So
well, I got Apple Music, so I'm going to fucking listen to it.
Yeah, I hope they got it ready. I don't see why they wouldn't. It was done. It's just a simple upload, so they should have it ready to go.
Yeah. All right, John. Before we go, you're coming back to Portugal February 4th. Trivium again. That package. You get good memories from Portugal. You guys played here a few times already now in recent years. So, I keep forgetting we had 2 years of pause because of COVID.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy to do that Slayer tour. It was the last time we were there. It's going on 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Totally nuts. And we've never been not to Europe ever since we first went there. We've always gone to Europe, more in America. And we've done almost, I don't even know, we've been like approaching 200 shows in America over the last 5 years. Even with the 2 years off. I mean, we were on the road halfway through a tour when the pandemic hit, literally setting up with the Black Label. And they were like, sorry, shows canceled. And Black Label was like, tours canceled. And then Black Label was one of the first bands back out on the road. Thank God Zach is just so, he's so awesome that he was like, I don't give a damn. I just want to be on the road. Do whatever you want to me, So, but yeah, it seems like it's been forever. But like I said, it also goes back. We were not going to release this record without having European shows lined up. We really wanted to be hitting the ground when this album comes out in Europe. So it worked out. It's finally here.
Yeah. And just to wrap it up, during the pandemic, you guys played, you did some live stream shows. How was that experience for you, to play that, without...
It's awesome. I mean, the first two were kind of nerve-wracking because, well, we decided the bright idea of doing a Slowly Rotting a Cause of Death album. So we had to go back and learn those songs that we hadn't played in years. So that was one nerve-wracking thing. And then it was kind of weird setting up. We did it at ESI, which is a big production company. They were dead in the water because touring had stopped. They got warehouses, hundreds, millions of dollars worth of gear sitting there, and they can't do anything, So they were like, literally called us up. They said they had a band do a live stream, and they're like, "Hey, have you guys thought about doing it?" And we're like, "What?" So then when we decided to do it, we said we'll do the Cause of Death and Slowly to make it fun and interesting, and it had a blast. It was a little crazy playing with no people in the room and just some camera guys with masks on. And we're like, okay, this is hard to get into, but what was really fun is after that, we set up our own studio and we did a redneck version of this thing, but it came out so awesome. We got the full Pro Tools rig. That audio streams beautifully. And we now have 8 cameras set up that I can switch through in our studio, and we can go live anytime we want now with a flip of a switch easily. But most people, we spent a ton of money on those ESI shows, and then we did the RecNet version of bare feet and beer cans, and everybody loved the our studio version, which we wound up doing. I think we've done 3 now. But I'm going to like them. We're set up to do it. It's easy for us to go live, and we have a lot of fun with it. So we're going to continue to do some. Anybody doesn't want it, watch it. They don't have to. But I know back in the day, if Slayer was to say, hey, we're going to turn on our cameras in our studio while we practice, I would have been the first one standing there in front of my TV ready to hear that thing for sure. So
I put everything aside. I want to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, I hope people aren't just watching on their phone. We like to think they're getting their big screen TVs and some big stereo speakers fired up and invite 20 people over your house and have a party for it,
I watch a few of the stream shows, and I put on the TV. I cannot watch on the phone. It's okay to listen to music, with the headphones and everything, but when it comes to watching video and the band perform, the 65-inch TV, I want to watch on that. I don't.
Hell yeah. There you go.
You have a big TV, why the hell?
But it's just crazy to think how the technology has changed because, I kind of like a lot of the tech. We actually built, designed and built or bought a whole new Pro Tools rig too. So during our downtime, we revamped and re-upped all of our Pro Tools rig, computers, inputs, everything was redone out there too. And then we bought these cool switchers that allow us to just go through cameras and record all this stuff. And but we have fun with it, man. Just joke with each other, beat on each other, do some silly skits and some silly stuff before and after and during. And we have fun with it, and we like doing it. So we'll do more.
Cool. All right, John, thanks very much for your time. I'll see you in Lisbon. Hopefully, I'm going to have back surgery on Thursday.
Oh, man. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. And I think I live on the day. So the doctor says I have to start walking right away.
Yeah.
So hopefully on February 4th, I'll be there. I'm a photographer, so I'll be taking photos. I just want everyone to get too close to me.
Please come try to find us. I won't give you a hug. We'll let it be. But try and come find us. We'll have a beer if you're up for it. But I certainly hope your surgery goes well, man.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll see you in Lisbon. That's for sure. All right.
Right on,
thank
brother.
you very much. Have a great day. Enjoy the tour. And again, I'll see you in Lisbon. Thank you very much, John. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.